Just want to introduce myself. My name is Elliot. My wife Tiffany and I have the great privilege of pastoring this group of people called Lifeline Church. Come on, let me hear you. If you're excited to be here, all of our first-time visitors, come on, let's give it up for them too. Let's go. Hey, I met a couple of you. Love you already. You guys are awesome. We have a mission here at the church. You can say it with me if you know it. It's to be a lifeline by leading people to becoming lifelong followers of Jesus. From cradle to grave, y'all. This is a lifelong decision we make to follow Jesus, and that's our mission, to make disciples, and it's a lifelong journey. It's so much fun. We also have a vision for you, slightly less known, our vision for you, and this is what I hope you experience becoming a Lifeline person, Lifeline member, just part of this family. Our vision for you is that you would know God, find community, discover your purpose, and then be a lifeline and make a difference in your world. It's our vision for you. It's not just our vision for you. We believe it's God's vision for you, that you would know him, not just know about him, know him personally, and that you would find community. And that kind of leads me to this thing. You can grab those message notes. We're going to follow along in that really soon, and you can download the YouVersion Bible app if you want to take notes with us. But I only have one announcement today, is that you would find community through our life groups. And there's a little thing they made. Our team did a great job. They made this little thing right there. Come on, let's give it up for the team. We got a good team here. All right, team. Many people don't know that this is a highly team sport that happens here at Lifeline. About 50% of our church is represented on a team, and coming through our starting point and just joining, and with that many, not everyone's serving every single week. There's a lot of community that happens there. If you have never taken that step, you can find community there, but the best, most impactful way for you to find community is through one of our life groups. And honestly, it's not just about finding community. We say that because it's easy to understand that you would find community. It's an important thing. But you're not just going to find community. You're going to find freedom. You're going to find healing. You're going to find transparency in relationships. And you do. You get what you put in. And it's not necessarily like you might be thinking, oh, you mean I need to go to this Bible study? Or, oh, I need to have my hermeneutics and homiletics on point to be able to go here so I can make sound. I need to read through the front to the back of the Bible. No. Hold on. Just wait a second. I know that's Bible college word right there. Come on, somebody. Stay focused. These groups are for community. They're so that you'll find community, so that you'll make friends. And so we have intentionally made the bar a little bit lower so that you can jump in and just engage with the content that we provide. We'll give you a workbook that your leader will be able to give to you, that it's really just discussion questions and going along with the message together. How it's going to work this year is we're going to do this series called Hearing God. Hearing God starts on September 7th. And we're going to go through that content together, and we've got workbooks for everybody, so you don't have to, you just come. You just come and you go through the discussion questions together. It's just for community so that you can learn a little bit about the Bible, learn a little bit about each other and yourself in that context. And in that, you're going to find so much freedom. But in the meantime, so like this week, groups are starting. And you're like, wait a second, I thought you said this series starts September 7th. I did. So this was going to happen. Everybody listening to me? Everybody's going to be in a group, right? Perfect. And all of the leaders listening to me as well. But the next 2 weeks of our groups are going to go like this. This first week, starting today all the way to next Sunday, the first week, all we're going to do, we're going to meet together. And the only thing we're going to talk about, basically, is let's just share our faith story together. Just go around. What do you know about Jesus? What do you know about, tell me your Jesus story. Tell me your faith story. If you're not even saved yet, you might have a story still, but it's just leading to that point, wherever you're at. Just talk about that. What better way to start to get to know one another, right? It's so easy, so simple, and you're going to start to get to know each other. The next week, I was on the fence about, should I even share this or is it TMI? We'll share it anyway. Sit in the front row, you got influence. Next week will be all about your Lifeline story. And if you're here at Lifeline and going to a Lifeline group, you probably have something of a Lifeline story. But if somebody in your group is not from Lifeline, that happens too. Just your church story, because Jesus' story is one thing, church story is another. And that's an open door to really get to know where someone's at. And then after that, we'll get into the Hearing God content. You'll know each other. I'm really looking forward to this season. I've got a group starting on Wednesday. It's already full. You're like, I want to come to your group. Sorry, it's maxed out. But I'm starting my group, and I'm looking forward to doing the same thing. Just hearing these folks' Jesus story, telling mine, sharing it in a non-Sunday morning platform way, like the real details. Because, we talk different to each other when we're in each other's living rooms. We need that. You need that. And so today, please, don't leave without signing up for a group. We've got bouncers at the door not allowing you to leave until you do. Half of you were like, that's funny. The other half was like, whoa. Whoa. No, man, it's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait to start. So get this app and get involved. So let's talk about part 4 of this series we're in called The Family Table. Of course, this series is all about this word I felt like I got. We had it planned already, but then God dropped this word in my heart out of Malachi 4:6, last verse in the Old Testament. And he didn't even drop it to me like a verse. He dropped it to me like a phrase in prayer that God wants to return the heart of the children back to the parents and the heart of the parents back to the children. And we were like doing a Thursday night prayer meeting, and I was walking around praying, and I got that word. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like crying. I'm like, yes, Lord, thank you so much. And then the series started, and that's my heart. That's my hope. I hope you're getting a lot out of this. Of course, last week was so much fun. We heard from Dave and Stella Veach. Who they've got 3 kids that are absolute world changers. One of their sons preached for Stephen Furtick like a month ago, and I'm like, nobody knew who that was, and nobody knew what that church was, and I'm like, these people are crazy. But they raised absolute gangsters in the faith, and I'm like, teach me everything you know. That was so much fun. Come on, let's give it up again. I hope they're watching online. We love you guys. Thank you so much for coming last week. That was amazing. But this is all about the family being your legacy. This is in your notes. Write that down one more time for me. One more time for me. Your family is your legacy. It's not the inheritance you give them. It's not the amount of money. It's not the family business. They're their faith. Their faith walk. The fact if you will see them in heaven or not. That's your legacy, is what you're going to deposit into them, not just monetarily, spiritually. From the inside, what are you depositing? That's your real legacy. It's not, because you're going to leave this world one day. And what you leave behind, money's money. But those kids and what they can do and what the impact they're making, that's real legacy right there. And so just a teaser for next week, Pastor Tiffany is going to be bringing the word next week, and she's going to be talking about parenting through pain. We got plenty to say about this. Being church pastors, it's just a hard job sometimes. I love it. It's joy of our lives to be able to do this. But we've seen a lot of stuff, so I'm excited to hear what she's going to bring next week. I hope you are too. And if you've ever had any struggles with parenting, don't raise your hand. I see you. I know you all have, if you're parents, and if you have not had kids yet, just hang in there. Just you got this, okay? But you want to come next week, take notes, and learn about parenting through pain. And today, we want to talk about parenting with purpose. Parenting with purpose. We talked about this. What's the real purpose that I'm trying to accomplish with my kids? Is it how much money? Is it, what is it? They need to have a good job. They need to make me look good, right? Do I show them off like a trophy, and that's is that what I'm getting out of this? No. What's the purpose? Parenting with purpose. That's what we're talking about today. What if the most important thing you could pass on to your kids isn't money, isn't success, it's not even opportunity, but it's the very faith that you possess? That flips the script a little bit, because sometimes we think, I need to give them something better than what I had. But when it comes to spirituality, you can't give them better than what you have. Sometimes God works a miracle, and he comes through in spite of us. But what if something really great happened to our kid because of us spiritually? The very faith you possess. Speaking of possession, I was thinking to myself, I remember the first time I realized I sound like my parents. Okay, my parents, good people, they're watching. So I have to watch my second service. I'll give you the real story. Just kidding, Mom, just kidding. But I said to my kids, and I said in a slightly elevated tone, I don't care, just do it. Like they were saying, yep. Oh, well, you know what? I don't care. Just do it. Just do it. Why are we still talking about it? Just do it. And then I had this epiphany. I was like, I think my dad just possessed me. What? Like, Father? It was crazy. By the way, we do possess our children. You know that? We do. You possess your kids. This is taking a weird turn, but that's okay. With our behavior and with our faith, we possess our kids. So here's the tension. You can get your kids into sports, into school, into success, and get them scholarships. But if we don't help them get Jesus into their hearts, eternally, what does it matter? What does it matter? I want something that matters eternally. Something that matters beyond the life, beyond just happiness, beyond just success. I want to give them something on the inside. It's a little harder to do. So let's answer that today. How do we parent with purpose, with eternal purpose? So I want to give you some truths today, just 3 of them today, to help you raise disciples, not just good kids, not just little trophies for yourself, disciples. Okay, we'll talk about that. Number 1, write this in your notes. Faith starts at home. Faith starts at home. This might seem obvious, but it's worth talking about. The greatest spiritual leaders of the next generation aren't being shaped in seminary. They're being shaped in minivans and at dining room tables. Let me get an amen from all the minivan people in the room. Yeah. All right. Amen. All right. My minivan right over there. Okay. That's where they're being shaped. They're being shaped in the car rides. They're being shaped in the grocery store when they're following you around. They're watching what you do when the Wi-Fi goes down. Stupid AT&T, I hate them. They're watching you. They're being shaped by that. I'm not playing. They're watching all that stuff. They're being shaped by that. They're watching you when the money's tight. Oh my, if I just had a different job, if I just had a little more money on repeat, if I just had more money, if I just had more money, if I just had... They're watching that. And then what do they grow up thinking? If I just had more money, if I just had more, if I just had... All right, I'm meddling now in your business. I'll move on. They're watching when people hurt you. And they're watching how you respond to how people hurt you and what you say about them, what you do. They're watching how you treat community. They're watching you say on the car ride home, I don't have time for no life group. Come on, that's for those fanatics. That's for those fanatics. So we got jobs to do. And I'm not talking about anybody. All right, I've talked to a lot of people about groups. I'm not talking about you. I wrote all this ahead of time. It's not about you. Oh, they don't understand, man. I got sports. They don't understand. That's for those fanatics. We're working. We got this and that. Don't have time. What are the kids doing? Watching. And then they grow up and go, I don't have time for that. You know, son, check the box once a month in the church. Everything's fine. Get out of hell free card. Got my fire insurance, whatever you want to call it. Like, they're watching you. Because faith starts at home. Before Paul discipled Timothy, so Timothy was a pastor of a church in Ephesus, and Paul wrote most of the New Testament, and Timothy was one of his disciples. But before Timothy had Paul, you know who he had? Lois and Eunice. 2 people you've never heard of before. Who's that? What kind of name is Eunice? If your name's Eunice, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I've never heard that name before. Before Timothy had Paul, he had his mama and his grandmama. Because why? Faith starts at home. Paul walked in and said, hey, awesome, let's read it together. 2 Timothy chapter 1. He's speaking about Timothy. I remember your genuine faith. He didn't say perfect. He said it's genuine. What you got given to you was genuine. You have a genuine, raw, authentic faith. Someone say genuine. Genuine faith. It's not perfect, okay? All the time these days, because we got a lot of new people, a lot of new faces, a lot of people who are new or they haven't been in church in a long time, and they go, oh, well, I can't do that, I can't do this because, I'm not good. Genuine. Say it again. Genuine. Just be genuine. Just be authentic. But it's faith. But it is faith, though. Genuine faith. I remember that. For you share the same faith that first filled your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice. That his faith was passed down. I talked about this already. What if we came to Jesus not in spite of our parents, but because? how much more of a chance would our kids have to, it's so important. It's so important to remember that faith starts at home. What if your kids have the same faith as you? Is that a good thing? Or is that something that you feel like maybe I should work on that? If they grew up just like me, even as a pastor, I'm thinking, I better work on it. I better work on that. Okay. Faith is like, it's like sourdough starter. I thought about bringing some in, but no, I'm not going to do that. It's like sourdough starter. Like it grows, and you take a little bit from the main and you put it to a new one, and it grows over there. Wow. All right, I'm a hippie at heart. You don't see it, but I am kind of a hippie at heart. I brew my own kombucha, and you know how you make it? You take a little bit of the first one, and you give it to the next one, and then you wait a week, and it's ready to go. Faith is like that too. Like you take a little bit of that, and then it grows into its own. And the stronger the beginning is, the stronger the next one becomes faster. That's what we want. Faith is also like the flu. I thought about skipping this illustration, but you're the most contagious where you spend the most time. Where is the flu most likely to spread if you got it? At home. That's right. One person knew. They were like, I'm feeling like this is a talkback kind of church, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's not. You can if you want to. It's not about that. But it is home, where you're rolling around in your sheets, just spreading it around, When my kids are sick, I don't go in their room. All right, I'm going to kiss you from over here. I'm going to blow you a kiss, okay? I don't need that in my life, okay? Because you can take it. And at home, it's everywhere. Tiffany come through, Lysol. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, we faith people, but we believe in germs, okay? We know they're out there, okay? God created germs, and they do hurt, okay? Faith is like that too. It's most contagious at home. It's less contagious when you come in here for 1 hour than it is at home when they see in you 167 hours out of this one. There's 168 hours in the week. You spend one here, okay? A lot more at home. Faith starts at home. Are you contagious? Well, it's not a question, are you? You are. Your faith, your actions, your behavior, all of that's contagious. But with what? You contagious with anger? You contagious with indifference? Whatever, I'm just doing like, oh yeah, he always says that. I always need to do something. Is that what's contagious in your home? This is a different message, huh? I'm like coming at you a little bit sideways right now, huh? I was looking forward to this. I don't know, you guys just hold on to your hats because it's only gonna get better from here. It's only gonna get better. Or are you contagious with faith? And guess what? If faith starts at home, guess what that means? Number 2, write this in if you dare. That means you're their first pastor. You like that? Yeah. You like that good, huh? Not me. You would love to think, I just dropped them off with the best youth pastor in town. Yeah, you tell me how that works out. Then that's all you do. And yeah, okay. And I'm not throwing shade, okay? This is like, we would tend to think, I just need to get them, I need to make them watch Christian cartoons and maybe a Christian influencer, and I get them into whoever has the best kids ministry. You know what the best kids ministry is? Your living room. That's where they're gonna learn it. Because despite what I say, despite what their youth pastor says, whatever they see you doing, that's probably, most likely what they're going to end, because you have the most influence. You're their first pastor. I'm not saying you can be. I'm not saying you should be. I'm saying you are. Whether you realize it or like it or not, you are their first pastor. Be a good one. Be a good one. And most of us feel unqualified. I do too, honestly. Like, I'm up here with the microphone. I know, you're like, I probably feel like I got it all. It's even harder for me because I feel like, man, they see me do this, and then whenever I pop off at home, now they're looking like, Dad's a huge hypocrite. That's a little funny and a little not. So you don't have that hanging over your head. So you got it better than Tiffany and I do, because they have to see all that. And they have to see how we respond when someone's mean to us or when someone whatever. And then they see me come up here, oh, good, welcome, it's good to meet you all, like with my pastor face. But then they see what's really going on at home. And I am their first pastor. But you are your kids or the person that you have influence over, you're their first pastor. You don't have to be perfect. You say things to yourself like this, and I've heard it so many times. I don't know the Bible well enough. I yell too much. I'm not perfect. I forgot to pray yesterday. God didn't ask you to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I still get to be a pastor. I'm way not perfect. So what does that mean for all of us? That's good news. It means you just have to be intentional. You don't have to be perfect. Just be intentional. Just own it. Joshua, let's talk about Joshua. That's Moses 2.0. Joshua came after Moses. Moses, the 10 Commandments, led the people out of Egypt. You've seen a cartoon about it or two in your time, I'm sure. You know who Moses is, the Red Sea, yada, yada. Joshua, though, came after him. Moses tried to lead the people into the promised land. They were very stubborn. They didn't make it. They all died. And then Joshua was in front of everybody going, hey, I know everything's working out. I know we're going into the promised land, but guess what? We're going into a land where there's a bunch of new gods and stuff. Where there's a whole lot of different influences. And watch what he says. Watch what he says. Joshua 24. He's talking to his nation. He's talking to his country of people. If you refuse to serve the Lord, then choose today who you're going to serve. Choose today. There's some urgency right there. Like, don't wait till tomorrow. Not deciding is a choice. He's looking at all of his people square in the eye saying, I want you to choose right now. I need you to, there's some urgency here. Don't wait forever. Choose today who you're going to serve. There's urgency there. And then he goes on to say, would you prefer the gods of your ancestors serve beyond the Euphrates? He's talking about Egypt, man. They had a God for everything. And it was not going good for them. They were slaves there. And yet they were still tempted to go back in that lifestyle. Whose land, or among the gods of the Amorites. So the land they were going into had some weird gods too. Weird gods, I should be more clear. They just had different gods, like not true gods. Joshua knew, and I know, and maybe you do too, there is one true God, the creator of the heaven and earth. The God of heaven, right? There is one true God. So if that's the case, do I want to give my people, not a nation, like my kids, just, you know what, just go and just figure it out. Just go figure, no, me and my house, as for me and my family, I'm gonna stake in the ground and say, no, this is my family. You guys, you can do what you need to do. But me, I'm not going to leave it to chance and be like, oh, just go explore Buddhism and then go explore over here and then go explore over here and then maybe, because I don't want to be too hard on you. So just go ahead and forgive me. I'm like that sometimes, a little sarcastic, okay? It's funny if you choose for it to be funny. Go over here, over there, I just don't want to be too pressuring. No, Joshua was like, no, this is my family. I'm their dad. You're their mom. You have influence. We're going to serve the Lord, the creator of heaven and earth, the God of heaven, the one who rescued us out of slavery. That's who we're going to serve. And I'm going to do everything in my power and keep that, it's in whatever's in your power. You can't make their decision for them. I'm not suggesting you can. Most of you know, if you've been a parent for more than a week, you try your best and then they do what they want. But you try your best. Joshua doesn't say, I hope you guys figure it out. He says, we're going to serve the Lord. Leadership begins in the living room. Barna Research. Pastors love Barna. It's like a research organization. Barna Research shows that the most influential spiritual voice in a child's life is still their parent. Not their pastor, not TikTok, not any influencer. The research is in, it's you. The parent. Still, to this day, and if I'm honest, I think forever and always, will always be their parent, as long as their parent's in the picture. And if not the parent, then it's whoever's taking that role. And maybe that's some of you. You've got some people in your life. You have the most influence. Don't forget that. You are their first pastor. The research is in. You're the one that reigns supreme. If you had a spot in their yearbook, under your picture, it would say, most likely to influence. That's you. You're in there, yes, congratulations, you made it in your kid's yearbook. Have them sign it, all right? Right next to your name, you're like, have fun this summer. I looked at my high school yearbook recently. I cannot repeat what people were writing in there, all right? I don't know what happened there. The home doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be intentional. Imagine a home where parents say, I'm gonna pray with you. I'm not just gonna drive you to church. I'm not just gonna drive you to church. I'm actually gonna pray with you. I'm gonna read the Bible with you or to you if you're too young, not just expect you to do it. Imagine if we had families that were saying, we'll bring our tithe and our offering together and not just gloss over the hard stuff. And you're like, oh, well, that I'm not perfect, so I can't do that. Now, what if all the areas, all the areas of faith, all the areas of discipline, like we were actually with our kids and showing them? What if we showed our kids what it's like to actually stop at the checkout stand where the girl that's checking us out is almost in tears and you can see it? What if your kid was there and instead of being busy, you were like, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? And then she says, no, my boyfriend dumped me. And then what if your child was there and you said, hey, I know it's busy, right? Can I just pray for you really fast? I'm not trying to make a scene. I just would love to pray for you. Not only would that be a good thing to do, you're your kid's pastor. You think some message I preach on evangelism is gonna do better than that? No, not at all. They're gonna see that and they're gonna go, oh my God, that's how you do it. And you don't have to be perfect. Man, that happened to me the other day. I was at, I'm not gonna say where because I don't want to, pull her covers, but I was at a store and this lady was checking me out and she was like, eyes filled with water. And I'm like, there's people behind me. I'm looking at her, people behind me, and I'm like, how you doing? And she was like, not good. I know. But it was her boyfriend, abusive, and, horrible. And I was like, God, just pray for you really quick. And then I waited, and then the line died down, and I came back, and I was like, hey, I'm a pastor, and if you want to reach out, whatever. You don't have to be a pastor to do that, You don't have to be a pastor to do that. And you are your kid's first pastor. You're teaching them to do that. That's just regular stuff, man. If you're their first pastor, then write this in your notes. Don't outsource what God called you to do. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that too hard? I'm sorry. It's just, you are their first pastor. So don't outsource, not ever. They could be 50 years old, your kids. And you think, oh, well, they're at another church now, or they're not going to church now, and the ship sailed. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. We learned last week in the parenting conference, your kids will never grow out of their need to be seen by mom and dad. Never. Never. If your mom or dad reached out to you right now and said, hey, I was just thinking about you. I love you. I'm so proud of you. You mean to tell me that would do nothing for you? Never. Never will they ever grow. So don't outsource and think that, oh, this is someone else's job. Oh, well, this is their youth pastor. I can't believe their youth pastor messed it up so bad. I can't believe kids' church didn't do a good enough job teaching my kid the Bible. Please. We have a great kids ministry here. Great. Yeah. Some of the best. For our scale and size, I think it's the best anywhere. We have some of the best people, the most passionate people. But it will never replace the need for the parents to be there. Never. It never will. It was never intended to. And let me just tell you something real quick. I'm going to take a pause and take a little, if you're feeling like, man, I already screwed it up. I already didn't do a good job. I already messed it up too much. It is never too late. Never too late for you to go back and start making progress in the right direction. I don't care if they don't respond to your texts. You can still text. They'll see it. They'll see it. And you could be texting for months. Like maybe some of you have a broken relationship with a kid that's grown. Or maybe in the house too. It's never too late for you to start making some good, right choices. Start reaching out to them again. And you will always be their first pastor. So don't forget that. Walk into it. Don't outsource what God called you to do. Not to me, not to anybody. I will never have as much influence as you. You're their most consistent spiritual leader, so take it seriously. Last one, number 3. God gave them to you for a reason. God gave them to you for a reason. Parenting can feel like really hit and miss sometimes, right? Holy moments and then holy chaos. It can feel like, man, we're having this milestone moment. Oh, it's so good. They come up to you and they hug you and they just put their face in your neck. And it's like, oh, I'm such a good parent right now. And then like the next moment you're like, get off the roof. All right, why did you go to the bathroom there? Like it can just go from hot to cold any second, right? God gave them to you for a reason. You weren't given those kids by accident. God looked at your child, and then he looked at you. He created you both and said, yep, you're the one. You're the one that I want with them. That's what God said. They are a gift to you. There's a purpose behind it. You're the one I trust to raise this child. That's God's voice to you. Let's hear God say it in Psalm 127. Children are say it with me, gift. They're a gift from the Lord. I know they don't always feel like that, but they are. They're a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from him. Even when they're screaming toddlers or sassy teenagers or aloof and distant adults, they're a gift. Those kids are a gift. It goes on to say, children born to a young man are like arrows. Say arrows. Arrows in a warrior's hand. Man, you gotta be a warrior to be a good parent these days. Come on. Yes, that's true. I don't need you to say amen. I know it's true. Arrows. Arrows in a warrior's hand. Not trophies to be polished, clean them up, show them off. No, they're tools to be launched into God's mission for them. They weren't meant to stay. They're meant to be launched. I got my buddy helped me out today, brought me something that I don't typically have. This right here is a compound hunting grade bow and arrow. This is, if there was a bow and arrow that represented what parenting is like, it's this one. Okay, it's this one. 80 pounds of pressure right here. Don't worry, I'm not gonna pull it back. I like that new TV too much to pull this back right now. I just want you to see this as I explain it, okay? Your kids are like arrows. And that means parenting is a lot like archery. A lot like archery. It takes tension. Tension, like it's hard to pull. Have you ever tried one of these things? They're horrible. Just get a gun, for crying out loud. Like, what are you thinking? Just get a gun. It's so much better. I mean, if you're allowed to get a gun, just do that. I got a lot of felons laughing right now. Like, that's funny for me. No, parenting is like archery. It takes tension. You know what the word, there's a hidden word in tension. Intention. Intention takes tension. If you are intentional, guess what? That means you're gonna create tension. Leading people, like I have a degree in leadership and ministry. That's what my degree is in. You know what, all those years of schooling, you know what I learned about leadership? It's hurting people's feelings at the rate they can endure. Think of Selah. Consider that for a minute. That's what leadership is making people feel uncomfortable and getting them to do what they don't want to do and hurting their feelings at a rate they can handle. And that's what parenting is too. It takes tension, the right amount of tension. It also takes aim. Like, don't get scared. Like all over the place. That's the fastest way to get kicked out of target practice in any like facility. You start waving this thing around, they will boot you out so fast. But that's what some of us parent like. We're like, just whatever makes them happy. Just, happiness is Legos over here, then it's money, then it's girls, then it's this. It's like we're, just like wherever. No. Don't do that. It takes intentionality and aim. Like you're aiming them at God's purpose for their life. If you don't have kids yet, you need to like put this up somewhere that when you start having kids, you need to remember this. Because it starts day one. All right, I mean, they're little babies, they can't talk, but if your day-year-old could say something, he would be like, don't touch me there. I feel like peeing here. None of your business where I go to the bathroom. They look right in the corner, they're standing there looking at your face. Moms know what I'm talking about right now. Your goal is not to just, that's what little Johnny likes. No. Okay. And then it also takes release. Gotta let them go. The best time to let them go is when you've created that tension correctly and you have the right aim. Your job is to launch them towards their calling. That's what good parenting ends with. Don't just raise kids you can live with. Raise world changers you can launch. It's in your notes. You can write that down. Don't just raise kids you can live with. Raise world changers you can launch. You're not just changing diapers. You're not doing drop-offs. You're not just helping with homework. You're discipling future missionaries. You're pastoring a future worship leader or a business leader. Hey, don't sleep on a good business leader that's influencing a lot of employees and stuff. There's a place for ministry in the workplace. Amen. You're raising a parent that's going to raise your grandkid in faith. Last thing, we're not raising children, we're raising disciples. I read this book once that was called Raising Passionate Jesus Followers. And like the main premise was, we're not raising kids. Like you're not trying to get 25-year-old kids. Like that's what we say sometimes, I'm raising my kids, raising kids. No, we're raising them to be adults. We're trying to get this kid to become a well-adjusted, God-fearing adult. I'm raising an adult. You're not raising a kid, you're raising an adult. It's a small change, but it makes a huge difference. We're not raising kids, we're making disciples. Yeah. Let me try to bring this home for you. Imagine you're standing in heaven, however you want to picture that. Streets of gold. When I picture heaven, I picture clouds. I don't know, I watched some cartoons when I was a kid and I can't shake it. I can't shake the imagery. I'm like standing on clouds or whatever. Because I did this too, I was imagining it. And I was standing on the clouds and then my kids are there. I try to imagine what they'll look like older, you know. And they're there and they come running up to me and they're like, thank you. Thank you so much. You led me to Jesus. That'll do it. Think about that. If you can do that, if you can get them there, if you can see them there, you win. You win. Because everything else is going to burn. Everything else is going to go away. All the kingdoms in the world, they'll all go away. I think about that. I think about, will I see them there? And that's the one question I need to keep in mind when I'm raising my kids. Let's not hope our kids get to heaven in spite of us. What if our kids got to heaven because of us? That's what it means to parent with purpose. And you can't give them something you don't have. So, if your faith right now is a little more superficial than you think it should be, then you're never going to get no judgment here. Like this is, we built this church to be very, you can come and you'll have a good time and we'll take care of you, we'll love you. We'll always be here for you. But this is just for you. This is for you to consider. If your faith, because maybe it's degraded over the years. I see it so much these days. There's a lot of people that maybe they've never heard of Jesus. And I love that opportunity. I feel so honored when new people come to the Lord. I love that because there's no wrong learning that's happened there. It's a lot cleaner. But so much more often, I encounter grown-ups that did that, drank the Kool-Aid, went to the youth group, but then grew up and said, you know what? I don't know. Or maybe you went to church as an adult and it just something happened. and you drifted out, and now you're like I said, we love you no matter who you are, but that is something that only you can know and decide to say, you know what? I don't want my kids to have the level of faith I got. And there's no way for you to bypass that step. If you want to be that influence for them, but don't do it for them. Take this step for you. Show them that authenticity. Show them that mom is going to do this for herself. Dad is going to do this for himself. And yes, I love my kids and I want them to see that. I want them to have that, but this is for me. God doesn't have grandkids. He has kids. That means it's you. So if I described you in any kind of way, like you drifted out, you're not where you want to be right now in faith, or maybe it's brand new for you, this is your moment. We're going to pray together. I'm going to ask you to repeat it after me when we come to that, but that's what this moment is. And so let's bow our heads together, and we're just going to pray really quick. Before I ask you to repeat this prayer or indicate that you're going to make that step, I want to pray over you.